Do you want to learn how to play Sirius and reach his prestige? Well, this is the best guide for you. Sirius is an amazing brawler and is one of the best controllers, and he's great in pretty much every map and game mode. So, let's begin with a quick explanation of his mechanics. Starting with his attack, Binary Star throws 2 projectiles at once. There's Shadow Strike, a single target ground attack, and Star Bomb, which flies over walls and deals area damage. Both projectiles have the same max range and deal 1200 damage, which stacks if both of them hit. But his super, Shadow Summon, is where it gets interesting. Sirius can summon shadows of enemy brawlers and command them as his army, but you have to collect them first. Sirius needs 4 hits to collect a shadow, and both projectiles in his attack count as an individual hit. Each stored shadow will take the form of the 4th brawler he hit to collect them, so you can usually pick which enemy you want the shadow to be of. Once you have some, use his super button to summon them, drag it around to station them in specific spots, or tap it to make them follow you. You can even collect more and have up to 6 shadows summoned at once. These shadows are incredibly useful for applying pressure and controlling the map, and can be used as shields for yourself and teammates. Just try to keep them away from brawlers like Ems or Jackie that can wipe them all out. They also disappear if Sirius dies, so be extra careful when you have a bunch summoned. With that, let's move on to his build kit. Starting with gadgets, A Star is Born summons a shadow of the next brawler you attack. It also slows them by 20% for 2 seconds. This is super helpful at the beginning of a match, as it essentially gives your team an extra member and grants you some cover. It can apply instant pressure on the enemy team whenever you need it, and it can also be used as an emergency shield for yourself or teammates. You can just pop this gadget and instantly counter the attacker, making this a great pick for Showdown. Next, we have Master of Shadows. This gadget instantly returns all summoned shadows to your side, and even heals them 25%. The more shadows you have summoned, the better the value. And if you use it as an emergency shield against assassins, you'll most likely take down whoever's attacking you, especially if you have your shadows stationed off screen and they don't expect it. But obviously, you can't use it if you don't have any summoned shadows. This gadget also helps you move your shadows around easily, helping to apply pressure on the enemy team and control the map. It's basically a better version of A Star is Born, more specifically made for 3v3 modes, but without the ability to summon a new shadow. On to star powers, Dusk Runners gives your summoned shadows a 15% speed boost. Simple but useful, especially if your shadows are mostly tanks or low-range brawlers on bushy maps. It helps them move around quickly if you're constantly changing their positioning, making it easier to pressure your enemies. And it makes them harder to hit, thereby wasting your enemy's ammo. The Darkest Star helps you collect shadows faster. This one is a little difficult to explain, so listen up. This star power causes his Shadow Strike attack to count as 2 hits instead of 1, but this only applies to Shadow Strike and not to Star Bomb. So if you fully land an attack with both projectiles, you'll get 3 hits towards your next collected shadow instead of 2. And since Star Bomb deals area damage, if your enemies are clustered together, you can fully collect a shadow with a single attack. This star power is super useful and is usually the better choice. It can help you collect shadows so much easier in Showdown and will pretty much give you a never-ending supply in 3v3 modes. As for his Hypercharge, Unlimited Power buffs all shadows summoned after you activate it. Newly summoned shadows have 15% more health and damage, and they are easily distinguishable by their bigger size. Sirius also gains a 20% speed boost, a 5% damage boost, and a 5% shield. This, paired with Dusk Runners and a full army, would definitely be horrifying to go up against. And as for suggested gears, Gadget Charge is always a great pick since Sirius's gadgets are extremely helpful. I also like to use speed or health, but gears are mostly up to you and your playstyle. And now, I'll show you the best builds to use for every game mode, as well as some tips and tricks. Sirius is a great pick in nearly every map and game mode, as long as it's not wide open with little or no walls like No Excuses. In Showdown, go with A Star is Born and the Darkest Star. You can use the gadget to summon a defensive shadow if you're attacked, or to finish off a weak enemy after a fight. Both gadgets can actually be used as a shield, but the ability to summon shadows faster is crucial in Showdown, hence the Darkest Star. It's more difficult to collect shadows in Showdown, especially in higher trophy matches where everyone's too busy bush camping to let you hit them. But this star power helps with that. Once you get some, try to store or protect them until you can collect more and summon an army. Then, you can either use them to take control of the map, or pressure other brawlers into fights. The same goes for Duo and Trio Showdown, but you can collect shadows faster in those modes, so you can absolutely use whichever build you want. In Gem Grab, use whatever build fits your playstyle. For his gadget, use A Star is Born to slow down or even take down enemies with gems. Or if your teammate has all of the gems and is under attack, you can summon protection from a distance. Or you can use Master of Shadows to protect yourself if you hold all the gems. For his star power, I'd recommend Dusk Runners if you use your shadows offensively. It's pretty easy to collect shadows in 3v3 modes, and that extra speed is pretty useful for chasing down gem holders. You can also use the shadows to control the center and try to keep the enemy team away from the gem mine. And when your team has enough gems, you can begin sending shadows toward the enemy team to hold them off during the countdown. If you're enjoying the video so far, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. And if you really like my channel, consider becoming a member. It's only $1 a month. You get to watch my content up to a week early, and you get to see clips of my videos as they're being made. In Brawl Ball and similar game modes, use A Star is Born and the Darkest Star. The gadget can slow or stop enemies with the ball since they're defenseless unless they throw it away and waste ammo. Alternatively, you can use Master Shadows to keep your army stationed in the corner until you need them to either push or defend. Just teleport them to your side. Shadows are super useful in Brawl Ball as distractions. The Darkest Star is a good pick here since it can be used to overwhelm the enemy team with a constant stream of shadows, but Dusk Runners could be used if you play more offensively or to chase them away from your goalpost or teammates. It's up to you. In Hot Zone, definitely go with A Star is Born and the Darkest Star. You'll want to apply as much pressure as you possibly can to the zones and keep a constant flow of shadows controlling it to keep the enemy team away. A Star is Born is a massive help with that. But if you're on a map with easy zone access or a single zone, you could swap the gadget out for Master of Shadows. You can store your shadows in your spawn, sneak your way to the zone, and instantly summon them to your side. Either way, shadows are extremely helpful in Hot Zone, so you'll want to go with the Darkest Star to summon as many of them as you can. It's even better in Hot Zone since your enemies are clustered together and you can sometimes collect a shadow with a single hit. If you have a lot of shadows summoned, be extra careful not to die and lose them. Don't be afraid to fall back and heal, you hopefully have some decent teammates that'll cover you. In Heist, the build depends on whether you're playing defensively or offensively. If you're defending your safe, use A Star is Born and the Darkest Star. This will help you summon plenty of shadows to keep your safe defended. If you're playing offensively, consider switching to Master of Shadows. You can store your shadows in a corner near spawn and try to make your way to the enemy safe. Once you get there, instantly teleport the shadows to your side and attack the safe. If you can, try to collect shadows of throwers. That way, you can keep them close enough to the safe to attack it, but hopefully far enough away from danger. They don't attack the safe with the most urgency, but it's better than them perishing before they even get there. In Knockout and Bounty, go with A Star is Born and the Darkest Star. The gadget depends on how comfortable you are dealing with assassins. You can use A Star is Born to summon a shadow or a Master of Shadows to teleport existing shadows to your side. But Sirius will often be targeted first in Knockout since he is so powerful and would be a devastating loss. If Sirius dies in Knockout, your teammates won't have any shadows to help them for the rest of the match, so you should probably just go with A Star is Born to be safe. The Darkest Star will help you keep a steady supply of shadows, which you can use to keep distance between your team and the enemy team. If you can get an enemy singled out, that's the best time to direct your shadows at them and destroy them. Pick them off one at a time. In Brawl Arena, use either gadget and the Darkest Star. A Star is Born can be used to defend your turrets or slow down enemies, and Master of Shadows can be used offensively. Collect and store shadows in your base, sneak up to an enemy turret, and teleport them to your side and launch an attack. If you have your hypercharge, now is the best time to use it. Master of Shadows can also help in emergency defense situations. Shadows aren't as useful on their own in this mode, but they are powerful in packs. You could use the shadows to take down big bots in the spawning zones, but it's usually a better idea to use them on enemy players. The Darkest Star is especially useful in Brawl Arena since the map is bigger and the enemies aren't often in groups, and you might struggle to collect shadows. So, that was the ultimate Sirius guide to help you reach his prestige. Feel free to drop any tips and tricks of your own in the comments below, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and have a great day.